When you play the Game of Thrones, you
Subscribe and like.
or you die. There is no middle ground.
Alright, hello YouTube, welcome back to the Grease Goblins YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about, would Robb's plan of taking Moat Cailin have worked? Now, if you don't know, realistically, what Robb's plan was after the Frey wedding, right, when they get the Frey forces, they would head north trying to take Moat Cailin. And Robb was going to do this by kind of splitting his three armies. But before we get into the video, if you guys like to subscribe, like, and comment, please do. Helps the channel reach more people that might like this content as well. And yeah, let's get into it. Also, I hope you guys like the newer background. I kind of tried to make it look a little bit better. I hope you guys like that. Let me know if you do. And let's get into it. So, Robb's plan, like I said, had been, I'm going to divide my forces kind of into three, right? You're going to have the van, which is what the Great John Umber was going to be leading. You'd have the Frey and Bolton forces. And then you would have Robb's forces that he had been bringing up from Riverrun. Now, in total, Robb would have had about 12,000 men, so he definitely would have had the numbers on the Greyjoys. Now, the other reason that Robb decides that this is a good time to try and take Moat Cailin instead of going against the Lannisters was because Balon Greyjoy had just been killed. Robb finds this out in the chapter where, you know, they're talking about Robb's will and all that stuff. You know, if you guys want to see that video, I did a video talking about Robb's will, but one of the main things talked about in this chapter is that we find out that Balon Greyjoy dies. I have my own theories on that as well, but, you know, going off of that, Robb comes to the conclusion that the Greyjoys are going to have a power struggle. It's going to be who is going to take the throne next. And Robb, thinking correctly that Victarion would have to take him and some of his better generals, as well as some of his forces, away to the Iron Islands to try and secure his crown against Euron, is correct. So Robb's plan is he's going to take his forces that, you know, came from Riverrun, that he's been through with all these battles, and they were going to try and kind of go with the Krennic men around Moat Cailin and then attack from the north side, which was the weaker side, the side that didn't really have any fortifications, you know, didn't have any walls or anything like that. The main problem with Moat Cailin was attacking it from the south. Now, what Robb was doing is, before they went to the Freys and, you know, the twins, was that Robb sends Mage Mormont and Galbert Glover to Howland Reed to tell him that they're going to need people to help them get through, you know, the Krennic lands and then get north to do this attack from the north. As well as he was going to have Roose Bolton's forces and kind of the Freys as well, and then the Great John Umber, who would attack from the south, and then they would try to hit from the west. They were trying to do this multitude of attacks to where they would overwhelm Moat Cailin. Now, my whole idea with this is, would it have worked? Because this is a very risky attack. Moat Cailin has never been taken from the south, which is why the north is so hard to take. I think this plan, in short, is very risky, because it would very much depend on the timings. Because if this going through the Krennic lands takes a little too long, there's a good chance the Stark forces would be slaughtered. You know, as we heard, you know, earlier on, and we've been told multiple times in the story, if you have a good amount of archers that are skilled, they can hold Moat Cailin from the south pretty easily. So let's say that this happens maybe a little off, the timing's off, and let's say Robb loses in all of his forces coming up the south. I think he would still win if his forces get through the Krennic lands. He would just take so many losses to the point that Robb would really be crippled in any type of warfare after this battle. He would pretty much be forced to do kind of the Ironborn were doing, where they just had to hold through Moat Cailin. There was nothing else they really could do. They wouldn't be able to help the Riverlands, really. And let's say this plan goes perfectly right, where everything's timed perfectly. I think, yeah, I think the Greyjoys would fall under the sheer just pressure, because we're never actually given the exact amount of men that Victarion takes to Moat Cailin. We're given it's something around a few thousand, because there's like this, I think there's this term in the book that says, like, you know, the garrison was a few hundred men at Moat Cailin to, you know, a few thousand type thing. So we know there's at least a few thousand men here. And I think with the distraction of all these people attacking from the south, all these forces, which would have been around 3,000, I think 500 men, attacking from the north, as well as Roose trying to attack with his forces, I think they would have been able to overwhelm them and take Moat Cailin. I think this would, again, even if this goes perfectly, would have been a very costly battle. But I think Robb would have been able to take the north. And at this point, I think he actually would have been safe for quite a bit in the story, just based upon how fast or how long it would have taken to do all these things and kind of retaking the north, how long that would have taken. I think Robb would have been fine. Do I think the plan would have worked? Yes. I just think it would have been more costly depending on the timing of it. Let me know what you guys think if Robb would have won the Battle of Moat Cailin, because another big factor I want to talk about in this is Robb is right when Victarion takes his best generals as well as a decent amount of their garrison, because it really makes Moat Cailin a lot easier to take. With not having Victarion there and a lot of their bigger generals there, I think Robb would have been able to take it. Let me know what you guys think on this idea of Robb taking Moat Cailin, if he would have been able to do it. And I hope you guys all like this video. If you guys want to see more of this type of content, like, subscribe, and comment for more of these. And I will see you guys all in the next video. Bye, guys.
If you think this has a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention.